Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This guy really thinks we're idiots, and I personally care just because he might use my money that was taken from me and given to him indirectly and taken from me without being asked. That is the US government taking my money, my taxes. How much they take, it's a lot, giving it to the Ukrainian people and end up in Reznikov's military blah 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 war machine. So what happened? If you're familiar, there's a little with the issue. There's a little problem, there's a big problem with corruption in Ukraine. They tell us, no, 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 Ukraine is changing. Zelensky is the incorruptible. He's going to fight corruption. Everybody else is corrupted over there. He's not. He and his group is not. Okay, he finds everybody being corrupted, but he's not. Can you believe that? I can't believe that. It's a whole organization that he oversees, or no, he is monitoring, he's controlling. Everybody's corrupted but himself. How in the hell you got over there? How? If everything is corrupted, how you became over there the leader of this corrupted organization or system, but somehow you're not dirty whatsoever. I mean, don't watch too many movies. Just use your direct experience with life. Okay, you tell me that the guy who got elected and appointed his buddies around, they are clean as a crystal, but everybody else, it's corrupt here, corrupt there, collaborate with Russia and so on. So we have this weasel, Reznikov, the Minister of Defense, appointed by Zelensky, and he's Zelensky, as Yermak and Zhmihal and others. There are Ukrainian people in charge of Ukrainian nation. So this guy, eventually we'll find out he is involved in some little corruption through the military deployment, money, purchasing, all kind of things, overcharging certain things. Like, let's say I say, okay, I bought 50 of this with $3,000, okay, and actually I paid what, $120, and the rest I pocket. That's how it works. And the Americans, yeah, here's the receipt. Yes, put it over there, Johnny. Okay, Mikey. That's how it is. And these guys are going with the money somewhere else. Now, Reznikov tells supposedly he's tough. He tells the reporters, if you find out that there was a problem with these deliveries of the coats, that's a problem. I featured it in a previous video where the Ukrainians made some hanky-panky deals with a Turkish company owned by a Ukrainian guy and so on, and they overcharged it. There are some receipts that do not match, as I told you. Yeah, we use, I'm just giving an example, $3 billion for coats that actually costs 100,000. So obviously I pocket the rest. So that's how the scheme supposedly worked, and we'll find out when they allow us to find out. So Reznikov is in charge. Supposedly he doesn't know anything about it. And he said, if you find anything wrong with that transaction and others, I will resign. No, weasel, you're not going to only resign, get your money and go to Tahiti. Oh, you know what? It's like a thief that he goes in a bank, steals everything from the vault, then it's an investigation, and the thieves, or an alleged thief, the suspect says, if you find me guilty of going in that bank and emptying the vault, I will retire and you're never going to see me again. I will just retire somewhere in, let's say, Bahamas. I'm going to take the money with me and go over there. No, Reznikov, you're not going to only, he says, I'm going to quit. I'm going to resign. Not only that, you should go in prison, and how are you going to pay the money back? So he said, I'm going to resign. Not that. I want to see how much money you've got. Well, I already know there are some articles over there about his daughter. I think she just got a little house bought. I can't remember where she bought that house, but it was very expensive for Americans, not only, or for the Western rich people. And I don't know where she got that money from, a salary of doing what. So anyway, why don't you look into that one? Here we have this guy right here, Ukrainska Pravda, purchase of jackets for armed forces. Ukraine's defense minister offers wager to journalists, and they respond. They say, you know what, I'm going to quit right here. In response to the investigation of Ukrainska Pravda regarding the involvement, Ukrainska Pravda is going to investigate this guy, but this guy is in charge of Ukrainska Pravda through the government. What are you talking about? With his buddies. It's like my child is going to investigate me if I use I don't know, some money to buy me some cigarettes or something. Psst, then what? I will send you in your room to clean your room, kid. In response to the investigation of Ukrainska Pravda regarding the involvement of the nephew of a member of the Servant of the People party in the scandalous purchase of summer jackets for the armed forces of Ukraine, MoD Reznikov, that weasel, defense minister of Ukraine, of Ukrainian nation, I like that better, pledged to resign if he does not prove that the jackets were indeed for winter. Oh, that's what he has to prove? You can. So I'm going to make a wager. I will resign if I can't prove that the Lamborghinis that we bought for the military are not cars and are not used for roads to be driven. That's it. I will prove to you that the cars, the Lamborghinis that we bought for the military to fight in Ukraine, are used to drive, to be driven. That's what he says. I will prove that those coats are used for winter. So he has to prove only what? That someone can put them on and you can use them for winter. I mean, this is not smart. This is really tarded. This is infantile. But hey, he's doing that. How many people do you think will catch that? They say, yeah, he's gonna prove, man, yeah. He's gonna prove what? They're for winter. If I go right now and take a coat, whatever coat I take, I can say it's for winter. Even though that's a coat for, I don't know, going to the opera, you know, a very nice dress coat. But it's not for military. So he didn't go to details. And when you're going to come back and say, see, weasel? You say, whoa, time out. I said for winter. You can use those for winter. So that's why, therefore, they qualify. So you, man, oh my God, this is for winter, right? This is what he says. He pledged to resign if he does not prove that the jackets were indeed for winter. Earlier, investigative journalists reported one of the Turkish companies received $30 million from the Ministry of Defense for winter jackets for the armed forces, but supplied the summer ones at a cost that had been inflated several times. This is what I would look. Inflated. I don't care, even if that's winter coats. If they're inflated, that's what I will look. Not in winter or summer, because I can always make the point like this. Oh, remember that famous glove that O.J. Simpson used and put on? The same. It's based on subjective terms. Like I can say, this is my work jacket right here. This is my, I don't know, pipe laying, working button shirt. What are you gonna say? That's obviously for office use or something. No. That's my regular, shirt. I use it when I plant trees. I use it when I have. I use it when everything. When I ride my bike, when I fly, all these things. What are you gonna say? That I don't? It's none of your business when I use it. The same. How can you prove that's not for winter? You have a little thing that is gonna check the quality, the wind resistance, the what? My friends, how is that power corrupts? Yeah, I think definitely power corrupts over here. And not only that, it comes from a faulty frame. It's like you would like to build a palace or a house on a swamp or a shaky ground or a ground that is, shifting around and it's, sliding. You're not going to be able. The foundation, which is us, the humans, and that's my assessment of human beings, okay? We as humans created, evolved, whatever. We are so faulty that we have a limit. We have a limit. And once we reach that limit, and you see this in civilizations. The greatest civilizations we ever had collapsed. Why? We reached that limit. And when you reach that limit, you're going to have a different attitude towards, you change your attitude about life. You become softer, and you don't fight anymore. Why? Because you reached your potential. We reached our potential of, that's the way we are. That's the way we are framed, as a shaky ground, as a, and when we reach, we try to put on it, we build. That shaky ground, you can build a certain kind of shack on it. But when we reach and we try to build more, it's just going to collapse. The same with civilizations, the same. Our foundation has its limits. And I will give you an example, clear example, or clear. We might be very much trying to point fingers at others, and we should do this because we observe things, we think, we have our values and principles. So yes, we judge. Obviously, I judged, and I how do you call it? Discriminated between glasses. When I bought these glasses, I discriminated. I said I don't like those mofos, and I said because I like these ones for these reasons. So I judged them and I discriminated. We do this all the time. When you go and buy a product, or you choose a woman, or you choose something, you discriminate against the other ones and you judge them, because judging is assessing. And they say, well, you're bad. I will say that you're bad. You're not good. You're good. What are you gonna say? No, you're good, but I'm gonna pick her. Yeah, you're all good, but you're gooder. To say that, better. So anyway. When we like to be moralizers, more or less, and it's dangerous, especially when we are involved in a organization that is involved in moralizing everybody else and so on. So when we're moralizers and we're outside of power, we can criticize a lot. That's fine. But then the problem is when we get in that position, we realize, or we might realize, that we are not better than the other ones. Or maybe better in a little bit. But when we get in that circumstance, our foundation as it is will get us. So I don't think Reznikov was a corrupt person when he was 17 years of age. But when he got 24 and 26, 28, he got into life, he got in certain positions, then his foundation was exposed to certain situations where he exposed himself. He became this, he became that, he worked here and there, and now he's got so much power and so much money that he can potentially have. That's that little. I mean, it's hard to be incorruptible like Zelensky. Zelensky, no, he has zero money, he's not going to take anything. You can't be. I mean, he's almost like dogmatic, as I said, the organizations that like to moralize everyone. So I think it's hard to fight the temptation, and for us, or for me, to judge that. Yeah, I can judge it because it's reality. It is as it is. But possibly, if I would be in his place, maybe I would be doing the same thing, or even worse, or maybe a little less. But definitely, our foundation is shaky, murky, shifty, sliding, and so on. So I expect that to be true, that this guy is doing hanky-panky just because he's a human being in that position. It's hard, my friends. It's hard. People show their foundation the way that we are for less money in lower positions. Do you think just because they're weak? Well, I want to see you in that position. Well, Emil, okay, well, if you succeeded in keeping your frame and proving us that you're good and strong, I like that, people. That's very good. Thank you very much for existing. But in general, and the rule is made with the majority of examples, that's how you make a rule, I think proves my point. We should strive to have people like you in positions of power and control, and that means that we're going to push the civilization to the tipping point faster. But when we get that point, we're going to end up the same, because you and I also have limits. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.